Leadership is a form of action. So one of the things we did was we took action and we basically dissected it into its components. We looked at action, how people act, how they're motivated, and then we built a framework around it. I'm an engineer, so I like to do everything in an organized way, like an engineer, in a format. That is why I said this format starts with only 4, right? All action can be broken down into 3 phases. Does that mean that we all act in those 3 phases? No. We just missed part of the phase, so we do an incomplete action. You've heard of reacting without thinking? Well, that's sort of incomplete, isn't it? Where you're just doing the middle phase. First phase, find the purpose of action. Why are you doing it? I won't take time today, but one of the questions I ask attendees at seminars or classes, why are you here today? You have a purpose. You did state that purpose to some degree, didn't you? I asked you, what's your interest in leadership? So you expressed your interest, so several of you. So you had a purpose. So that is a purpose-driven action. Second thing is performing the action. We said you will be working, right? Workshop. So you perform. Some of you perform more diligently than others. We all look at it at different perspectives and we bring to it a different amount of commitment and concentration. Right? So, and what is the third purpose? Well, how many of you heard of Deming? The Iowa farmman boy. He grew up in an Iowa farm. And then he ended up going to Japan because nobody here listened to him. Quality. And they made the Deming Award to honor his work. 30 years later, we have the Baldwin Award in the US. Not named after him, but same principle. In the meantime, the auto industry went kaput. And they grew because they followed his thing. So this is purposeful action. Because he talks about these phases in a way. Remember, he says plan, do, check, and redo, for those who know the cycle. But this concept covers that, but not in that same way. There are 3 phases of action. So every action should have a purpose. There's a very popular book, Purpose-Driven Life. Same concept. Purposeful action is what is the purpose for action and where do you find that purpose? Can anybody here give me feedback on where does that purpose come from? Talk about a leader's action or a manager's action, anybody's action.
Mission.
Where does that purpose come from?
Mission.
The purpose comes from mission. Where does mission come from?
Vision.
From where?
Vision.
Exactly. So purpose comes from vision. Mission is a consequence of vision, not the purpose. Got it? Mission is, let's take the Gulf War is a very interesting, the first Gulf War, very interesting. What was the mission? Very clear mission. But what was the vision? The vision was free-flowing oil. Not at $100 a barrel, but about $25 a barrel. So that vision has been violated. Was that the vision or not? Free-flowing oil and freedom for the nation.
They wanted to
Saddam out of Kuwait. So that was the vision. But no, that was mission. Mission was to get him out of it. See, that's the difference. The vision is free-flowing oil and freedom and democracy to the extent that we can influence it. That was George Bush Sr.'s vision. Now we talk about a leader now. The mission was to get him out of it. Then there was strategy. So we'll talk about that. That's all part of a leadership role. What was the strategy? Just to move ahead a little with this. What was the strategy for the Gulf War? Well, to go with overwhelming force, that was the power doctrine, right? Overwhelming force was the strategy. For a business, it's the marketing. How do you do it? Do you go with price or do you go with innovation? Do you market? Do you start with one country then the other? Well, they said we will go overwhelming force. And then the tactics or the sub-strategies to implement it was what? British will go by seas, French will go by air, we'll go by ground or whatever that was. In other words, overwhelming force with shock and awe. Just go ahead and do it. So that was strategy. So these are all aspects of leadership and management. So leadership, already I'm giving you an idea here. The first phase, remember action in 3 phases. First phase, purpose. Leaders are very involved in that. Second phase is developing the mission, developing the goals and the strategy and implementing. Leaders are involved in that, but that's far more management. The third phase, assess and renew. Leaders are also involved in that. primary focus is the first phase, and you will see it. But once we break it down, you will be able to assess. This bookmaster will do that. Those questions are testing your whole, your response in that area. And the reason we do it at the start is I don't want you to influence with what I said you'll take away. Because what you take away, you'll be able to answer that much differently. Because you will start thinking, I want to be a leader, this is what I should be thinking like. Now obviously all the learning is up to naught if you don't act with it, so you've got to try it out.